The oldest living survivor of the Tulsa race massacre died at 111 years old. First of
Mhm.
all, she lived to be 111. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But Viola Ford Fletcher, who again is the oldest living survivor of the Tulsa race massacre, passed away last Monday. And essentially, it just brought forth the conversation again of this ongoing fight between the U.S. or the state of Oklahoma and the surviving members of the Tulsa race massacre that took place in 1921. And for people that don't know, I'm gonna let y'all do your research. But in a high level, it was a race massacre that took place after a black man was allegedly accused of assaulting a white woman in
On
an
the elevator.
elevator. They were talking about publicly lynching him. You had black people that rallied in their support to make sure that he wasn't lynched, and that started one of the most heinous crimes in American history. And for years, bro, it's kind of crazy because I know the he's actually the lead lawyer, the Mario Simmons, who has been overseeing the lawsuit, and you know the Supreme Court dismissed it in 2024. So it was just sad because you would just see that the injustice of, when I say leveled it, bro, they leveled the town. I'm talking about burned it to the ground. So I don't know if you ever seen Watchmen
Mm-mm.
on HBO, but like they kind of talked about it in the beginning a little bit. But it was a fight for over 100 years, and there were only 3 survivors in 2021 when it was initially the lawsuit was initially filed, and now there's only 1 survivor, I believe, that is alive from this, and I think they're like 104, 105. But it's looking like they're never going to get compensation for it. But the reason why I brought it up is because it just talks about the lack of accountability within American history for the injustice that happens to black people all the time, and you just start to see that like sometimes bad things happen to people. They live. We know their story. We know that it was wrong. We know that it shouldn't have happened. And that's all you get, is that this shouldn't have happened. This is disgusting. So seeing her pass was just kind of like a lot of people were just showing her flowers to be able, one, to live to 111. I'm sure that she has seen a lot of the progress that's going on as a nation. She got to see the Barack Obama and all of that stuff, but still how much further we have to go as a nation. But just wanted to kind of speak to that. I know you were doing some research on it and had some thoughts, but
No, man. When I think about it, like I was just looking at the pictures and I'm like, man, I don't know how to say this in a sensitive manner, but I really don't mean to be insensitive. Like when I look at these things, I think about slavery. I think about this, like how they could just burn the town down like to the ground. And then even like I said, 30 years later, Emmett Till happened, right? And then even at the Emmett Till, we got Rodney King. It's like I don't understand how you can see this happen to your people and just be okay with the life that we have. Like this makes me want to do something with myself. Like this makes me want to have some type of power. Like, and I understand. Like I think it's like a pull and tug, a tug and pull with it. Because like I feel like the more woke you get, the more angry you get. But it's like, what does that do? Right? Because I see woke, like so many woke people, and I say that with all due respect, like they talk about how it's unfair, the injustice system, like reparations. And it's like when I see it, man, it be like, man, the first thing that come to my mind, not to be insensitive, I promise, is like, man, fuck them reparations. They ain't never give us shit. I'm never about to expect nothing from these people. They ain't give us reparations from fucking slavery. Slavery was one of the
40 acres and a mule.
you know what I'm saying? Slavery was one of the you talking about heinous, like yeah, this is heinous, but people was getting killed in front of our families, getting whipped way before this. You know what I'm saying? So we talking about reparations for what? We ain't Jewish. They gave it to them. We ain't dumb. They don't give a fuck about us. So it's like that's why I said I don't have no sensitive way to put it, bro. And I know people right now that agree with it, but like, bro, fuck them people. We gotta go get it on our own. But they make it so hard for us to get it. Yeah, they do. But there's examples out there that show that it can get done. When we gonna band together and get it done? You know what I'm saying? Like, and we don't have to. And I'm not with the whole left field. Like, we don't have to band together to like be racist either. Because it's enough. Like, we don't have to band together to say fuck every white person. We don't gotta do that. That's a sin or a consequence that they gonna have to live with. It's gonna catch up with them. We ain't gotta do that. We just gotta find out a way to be able to be forward and progressive in our own way, so we as a people can get our own reparations, right? Like people like, well, how? I don't know, but I know like I'm doing everything I can do so I can reverse engineer these generational curses, right? I'm trying to educate myself on investments and and financial situation. You know what I'm saying? So I can be financial, then my kids can be financial, because if I leave it up to the government or the United States, it ain't never gonna happen. Right? So when I look at it, I'm like, man, that's fucked up. Like, and that's why I asked him, like, yo, how can this happen in 1921 and then Emmett Till can happen in what 1955? How? That doesn't, bro, that makes no sense to me, bro. There's no way that can happen, bro. Like,
I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm gonna keep it 100. 1955. These are the stories that we know, bro. So like between 1921 and 1955, there were more people that were probably lynched. There were more people that were probably. There's stories that to this day we hear, and there's speculations as to things that are still going on. Hate is hate, you know, and I think that's why people get so upset. That's why people get so riled up. It's just like when you live in a world where you feel like there's no consequence, but everything that you do, there's a consequence for. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like your counterparts could live and do certain things. Again, and it's according to our perspective, right? Where it's like, all right, bro, like, you can be openly racist and things of that nature and be rewarded in this world in certain aspects back in the day, right? Now, social media, you might get canceled for a little bit, but we done seen some people that were openly racist, it come back around for them too. So I'm not about to say that it's completely throwing you out there now. But it's tough when we think about it from that perspective of, because that was just what was acceptable. We watched the video. Bro, it said it was maybe like what? 40, 50 people that showed up to go defend this man?
Yeah.
Bro, they said
thousands of white people.
Thousands of white people with hate fueled in their heart, with weapons gathered into the town to burn it down. And massacre. This is a massacre they're talking about. Innocent people, bro. So it's like at the end of the day, yeah, we're going to be mad. Because it's like, bro, we didn't do nothing to you. And it's sad because they lived in an era where you can say anything.
And not even that, bro, on top of that, how it was set up for us to fail. Right? Like, bro, I wouldn't even have to be in this predicament if I could just use the fucking bathroom, my nigga. Like, I'm good enough to work for so for the people that don't know, he was working at the shoe shine shop, right? And he was working in a town where it wasn't no colored bathrooms. My nigga, y'all are so fucking racist that I can work for you. I can make you money. I'm good enough to work for you, but I'm not good enough to use the fucking bathroom in your establishment.
But that's why people are angry.
What? That doesn't even make sense. So now I gotta walk down the street, get on a fucking elevator to be able to use the bathroom. I wouldn't even be in this predicament if y'all didn't make rules to make these unjust rules. You know what I'm saying?
You wanna know why though?
Why?
Because we weren't seen as human.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, cool. If I look at you like you're a horse, right? Like, yeah, I own this horse. You good enough for me to
ride and
do everything that you're supposed to.
money.
But at the end of the day, bro, you're not using my bathroom. You're not even allowed in the house. You in the stable. And that's what we were looked at.
Bro,
that's why people are upset. It's because, bro, you see the value in what we bring to you, but you don't see the value in the humanity of the person. When we bleed just like you, we breathe just like you. We do everything that you can do. We just look different. Now, I can understand an animal. This is different. This is a different species. This is different. But we are literally the same species. But because of the color of our skin, there is so much projected hate that you feel like you are so much more superior that I can't go to the same bathroom.
And that's why I say, don't mean to be insensitive about it, but why are we waiting for somebody to give us something that they never wanted to give us from the jump?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, think about it. Does Emmett Till have a day?
Let me see. I believe so. Emmett Till, August 28th.
What day is it?
Hmm?
What day is it?
What do you mean?
You said August 28th.
That's his day.
What, like, is it Emmett Till Day?
Yeah, Emmett Till Remembrance Day.
I never heard of that.
Yeah.
You ever heard of National Denim Day?
Hmm?
You ever heard of National Denim Day?
Like jeans?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I'm not surprised.
Oh, that's
You heard
another
of it?
story. Yeah.
What's it about?
It's
It's about when a woman got like sexually assaulted or something like that? I have, yes.
I don't mean to laugh. It was an Italian woman, but it's like we bring awareness, and that should be raised awareness because that's crazy, right? But I say that to say, like, you see the difference in how they treat white folks when they're mistreated compared to black folks. You know what I'm saying? That was the whole point. Because even still, that shit is still crazy, to be honest. Like, that story is insane. Like, yeah.
But no, so it's kind of interesting that you said that because the commemoration is the 28th is a day of national remembrance, but it's ceremonies, memorials, vigils, especially in Mississippi and Chicago, because he was from Chicago and he was lynched in Mississippi. But no, I mean, you don't hear these stories for a lot of people in that capacity. I would say, obviously, Martin Luther King. That's
Yeah.
like that's the remembrance that we get. But even with African American History Month, that was a week. You know what I'm saying? That extended to a month. It's just like you get this, and then the rest is white American history. Because Black history is American history.
Yes.
We know this to be true. But like at the end of the day, you find people that we get this for this moment. Got Obama for 8 years. Let's go back to our roots.
And that's why it's like, yeah, we gave these niggas something. Be glad.
The DEI, they try to make it seem like it was like, okay, we're going to let this pass.
And even with DEI, bro, it's like I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm far from it. But it's like they create DEI, but look at the negative attention that it brings, even amongst the Black African American community, right? Like we're so foolish that we think DEI is a handout, not understanding that DEI is that couldn't be further from the truth.
No,
like DEI, if we want to be, and I'm not as educated on it, right? But DEI is something that every business has had. DEI, if anything, is what can make your business more money. Why? Because now you're not just tied to yourself, right? Even when we talk about business and podcasts and whatever, they say, yo, you should probably have some women around because they look at things differently, right? They bring a different type of structure. That's DEI, my nigga. Like, yo, a lot of people, they look at it as a handout. I was one of them ones, right? Until I started to learn. But a lot of times people don't have the information and they scared to go get it. Just go get it. And it's okay to be wrong, right? But DEI is really the bridge or the gap between ignorance and having an understanding, right? Why? Because now when I can bring a woman on my team, now I have the perspective and thought process from a woman that can give me a bigger audience. Right now, if I bring, because I don't want to just keep it to Black people because people think it's just Black people. No, DEI is diversity, equity, inclusion, meaning I'm diversified, even in your business, diversify my portfolio, diversify, it makes you more money. It ain't just people. My nigga, like, use your brain, right? So even in, let's say, white people, Black people, let me bring an Asian to my, why? Because now I can touch a far bigger demographic. Why do I just want to sell to my people? Why do I want to just understand my people? Let's think about police, right? Not even just a black and white thing. You have DEI, if we had DEI in the police stations or the police academy, it wouldn't be as many police on Black crimes, right? Even if it was just white. Let's think about it like this. Now, I'ma have somebody from this neighborhood and like that understand. I'm gonna have somebody of the same neighborhood in this neighborhood so they can understand each other. So it won't be it won't be a gap in understanding, right? So now when you're talking, I don't have to be frightened by your fast hand movement because I'm used to you, right? So again, in my business, let me bring somebody who understands the people that I want to get my message to, so they can understand the message to, or they can explain to me how to relate a message. Bro, I'm so tired of the ignorance around it. But again, look at it. Cool, we're going to introduce DEI. But we can't even have a real DEI system because now you got Black people arguing about DEI and not want a handout. It's a distraction.
So it's kind of crazy that you said that, right? It's two forms. So one, I want to, community policing is what you kind of described just there. And we have seen places where it's been successful. You know what I'm saying? Where there's access. Actually, right now, I want to say Baltimore City is in a better place
Yeah.
because of community policing and things of that nature, where you have seen people that have been grown up in that city, so they know people in the towns and I mean in the streets and things of that nature. So there's that level of conversation that can take place. DEI, everything that you said is valid, right? But I want to flip it because you're thinking about it from a business standpoint, right? But I want to flip it to a consumer standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hypothetically speaking, especially within our community,
Mm-hmm.
Black dollar generates about $1 trillion worth a year, $1 trillion a year. You know what I'm saying, from the Black community. We support a lot of brands.
Mm-hmm.
Certain brands we may be, let's say hypothetically speaking, that name your favorite brand that you feel like Black people support a lot.
Balenciaga. Let's say.
Cool. Let's say
That's not my favorite brand, but
no. All right. Let's say Levi, right? Let's say
Okay.
Levi jeans or something.
okay.
And let's say 50% of your consumer rate is Black people,
Mm-hmm.
Black males, women, right? But then you look at your boardroom. You have 2% of your boardroom is Black.
Mm-hmm.
Your consumer base is 40% Black, but the people that are making decisions that would represent that community in either marketing and opportunities for modeling and opportunities of how the brand shows up and all of that stuff, 2%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the issue comes in. Is because the consumers for a lot of these companies are in the upteenth percent of consumerism.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at representation as to the people that are making the decisions for how the brand shows up, what does the brand support, what initiatives are they putting money behind, things of that nature, now you find it, okay, we're going to give money to, I don't know, which they're good initiatives, right? It could be, I don't want to say autism, but something in that capacity, but like something that's just related to one particular community, right? Whereas 40% of
I'm gonna give
your
money
consumer-
to kids who suffer from lice
or
some
something
shit.
like, yeah,
You know what
that
I'm saying?
affects a community that is a part of it, but not
Yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
So then now you have impoverished schools that could, let's say a Target, they need a back to school giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great to be sponsored by a Target that has a Black consumerism, I think about 35% or something like that. It was some crazy, I don't know what it is now. But now it's like, okay, then you turn away and you roll back your DEI initiatives?
This shit is stupid.
And let me tell you why this matters. Sorry, not to be on a soapbox, because you know this is what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I seen it firsthand how DEI impacts us. We could talk about it because that's how you become equitable. DEI scales far, because now we did an event, and I can't say the name of the client, but every Black person that was in that room, and this was with the government office, we brought. So when you have now the leverage to be able to speak to it, and it felt good because I looked around and I thought about it, I was like, yo, this is a very white space.
Okay, not the one I did. Okay.
This is the other one that I just did.
Okay.
And it was crazy because the DJ was Black, the videographer was Black, we did a booth, a 360 booth, Black vendor. The people that brought the furniture were Black. And it's like, that's what happens when we're just given an opportunity with leverage. It's a double-edged sword, though. With DEI comes a lot of pressure, though, because you have to work twice as hard now for the next person. Bro was talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's like you have to show up with a level of excellence because they're waiting for you to lose. They're waiting for you to fail. So now, when I do give you an opportunity, not only do you have to do it well, you have to do it just as good or just as fast as somebody that would get double the time. Because if you don't, then when it's time to renegotiate or something, man, they're not as good as we think they are. And that's the ongoing cycle of DEI. Because it's like now, it's not so much of our community that's saying it's a handout. It's just like affirmative action, where so many people were just like, oh, with affirmative action is like get into schools and things of that nature. So it's like you have to diversify your pool of getting funding. I mean, to get the funding that you get from the country and all of that stuff, you got to open up your school.
Yeah.
And give other people the opportunity. People got mad at that. It's like, you wouldn't be here. Like, I had the grades and everything, I qualified, but I didn't get in because they had to let in a quota of black people. I can understand why you would say that's unfair.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, they had the grades too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not to say that they lowered the standard. They still have to meet the standard to be able to go in there. It's just the number of people that they're taking in now is different because they have to make a certain a pool for a certain number of people to come through.
No, I think what I was gonna say though is like I feel like again because I don't want to get caught up in a conspiracy of it, but I feel like these companies can roll back on DEI because I feel like us as African Americans don't have no real unity. Like we don't have real community, right? How we would like to have it because I can roll back DEI because I know they're still gonna buy it. I can put this monkey on my website and act like it was a mistake or a misstep because I know that y'all niggas going to see it and still buy the shit. I can do that because I don't feel the impact of losing a black dollar.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I can do it. And I don't need to have no DEI program because nigga, y'all still gonna come shop. Because you only got one target in your community and you need to come here. And it will be more inconvenient for you to drive 10 miles somewhere else to go to Walmart or somewhere else. Or even if not Walmart, y'all don't have nothing to go to. Y'all gotta come here. Why do I have to have DEI when I don't have to? Why do I have to have a boardroom of 40% of black people when nigga y'all still gonna shop here? I don't have to donate to y'all community because y'all still gonna give me your money. That's why it's like that. And again, it's like, and I was learning about, it's funny because I didn't take this class in school, but we just talking about like, remember the experiment? I know you probably know about it. The experiment they did with the dogs where they put the
Bobo doll?
What was it called?
You said the dolls?
Dogs that like, I forgot, it's an experiment. I forgot what it's called. They teach it in schools. Mm-hmm. They put the food in front of the dog until they start salivating, right? And they did it so much to the dogs where that they didn't have to eventually
the bell.
Yeah, no. Eventually, they didn't have to put they hit the bell, and eventually they had to put the food in front of the dogs, and they start salivating because they knew the food was coming. But what happened was even their offspring start salivating. So what happened is like it's not that okay, I'm gonna bring DEI so the black community can raise hell and they can think they're getting a handout. What happens is I'll put this in place, and then when they do get out of line, right, I'm gonna just put the spotlight on them. I'm gonna put the spotlight on them being out of line. So now it can look like it's all we all in chaos because of this one situation. So it's man, this shit is crazy, bro.
But all this is actually puts a great bow on the conversation of Tulsa because this is why people get mad. Because when we do have the unity, they call this. You got to think about the term. It was Black Wall Street.
Yeah.
So you did have the community.
Mm-hmm.
You had that infrastructure. And when we do have it, you burn it down.
That's insane.
So it's like when you look at it from that perspective, that's why people get upset. Because
bro, that's insane. You know how much hatred that's the definition of hate.
Yes.
You burn our community down because we want to protect somebody that, bro.
So it's like, okay, we got to nip this in the butt.
So that's when do we learn as a black people? Like what? Again, I'm not saying, bro. I'm not saying go out there and be racist and say fuck every white person you say. See, I'm just saying like when are we going to come together and do what we got to do to build our own community and again not have ourselves in debt, not have ourselves behind the 8 ball when it come to financial literacy, not have ourselves behind the ball when it come to physical and mental health. Not you know what I'm saying like we got to do it for ourselves first.
So it's tough, bro. It's tough because there's so many factors that are playing at the same time. And I'm not here to just make excuses for. It's like, okay, you look at the job markets, right? That's one thing. You have a school to prison pipeline. You have the injustices as far as like just opportunities, right, that are given to somebody. You look at it from a standpoint of like grants, right? Mm-hmm. I remember in Baltimore City, we had a whole story about how the funding from government programs, and that's what matters on certain administrations. Whereas it's like I may try to do something the right way, right, from a nonprofit standpoint, but I have to apply for grants. You know, whereas this same does the same thing, impacts the same amount of people. They get the grant, or they get $1 million. I get $10,000. So now the type of people that I can impact is very scarce. It's limited. So these things are all factors that our community has had to deal with, and it's not just our community though. I just also want that like the brown community as well. They are faced with these same things as well, but the system has been engineered so well that you would have to level multiple places at the same time for it to start at zero. Like we want to, that's just to get to zero. Then you can start building.
Damn.
But like we are so far behind in it, and it's not from a position of like there's not outliers and people in that capacity, right? But let's talk about wealth, just from a perspective, right? I was talking to one of my homegirls about this, and I was like, people don't understand how wealthy our white counterparts are, right? Elon Musk is worth, and this is what's recorded, right? About $438 billion or something like that. Let me look at the actual number right now. To put this in perspective, because I really thought about this and I was just like, this is crazy. 400 and something billion dollars, right? The highest person on that list that's black is 90th, 482 billion. Next person, 262 billion. Next person, 253 billion. Next person, 244 billion. Next person, 244. Top 3 companies: Tesla, Google, Oracle, Amazon, Google, Facebook. LVMH. How many black consumers you think use these either services or products?
A lot.
Cool. Boom. From that perspective right there, that's just the top 6 or 7 people. You're upward at $1 trillion worth of with 7 people. Cool. Let's break it down this way. The first black person that you see on this list, which is the richest black person in the world, that is documented. We don't know some people's wealth. They don't document it in different places like that. Princes, Saudi Arabians, all of that, right? Talk about black person in general. Is Akiko Dangote, Nigeria. 24 billion.
Damn. That's insane.
You can take every black person on this list
and it still won't be the
and add all of it together, and it won't even equal to just the net worth of Elon Musk. And that's one person. So when you take about the percentage of wealth, I'm not saying that everybody has that, because not every white person is wealthy or everything in that capacity, but the 1% is so high, bro. Like when you think about middle class, we're not even middle class really, because the wealth gap is like, so when you talk about the importance of the black dollars, the reason why people get so mad is because you can be this wealthy from services that we use, from things that we establish, that we consume and all of that, but then you won't give us an opportunity.
And that's why I say, fuck them niggas. But that's to my point.
Like,
again, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but it's like, yo, like you said, we ain't going to get nowhere until we say fuck them niggas, because I don't know the percentages, but I know a lot of the consumers is probably black. Imagine we took our money out of that and created our own.
But that's the thing. We try that. You know what they do? And I'm not trying to I'm really not trying to like give us excuses. It's like, okay, we'll come up with a software, we'll develop something, you get bought out. You get a lot of people that sell out their companies early on because it's the most money you've ever made. Then the same company that looks at you is like, oh, you should come and put this in Target. You might have a small business and it's like, okay, now put this in Target. Now you're making money off of it. You know what I'm saying? Or put this in Walmart. You know what I'm saying? To scale. This is how you scale your business. I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do, but at the end of the day, they have built these systems to be so dependable on. Because it's like, how else do you scale? We don't have a black company that I know of. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we don't have a company that rivals Amazon that can get goods and services to somebody at the speed that it does. We don't have a social media platform that we know about. I mean, you could look at Fanbase and other things like that rivals a Facebook for information to spread as fast as it does. Spill was supposed to be the competitor for Threads and for Twitter, but to get that integration for all of us to move in one accord, even with Truth Social on the other side. I'm looking at the other side. When they kicked Trump off of Twitter, that still didn't have as much of a reach as, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like these systems, once they're in place, it's just really hard because the conditioning, just like how you were talking about with the salivating dog, we're now conditioned to use these services. So now it's like, okay, you're telling us to go outside of the norm. That's when you have the conversation of people that are revolutionary and things of that nature, because it takes somebody with a very distinct mind that can have the charisma, but then also the foresight to be able to create something that is so not necessarily polarizing, but so transcending of time and a moment that it can shift the culture.
Hmm.
We don't see that often. We have a lot of these conversations, but to have a revolutionist, I don't think we've seen a revolutionist in our lifetime yet.
Yeah, that's crazy.